Hey YouTube, this is Micah, and I'm here with my first video. I was gonna go ahead and talk about being gay in a small town, and just my general coming out story. You know, I'm from Arkansas, and anybody that's in Arkansas that's gay or in another small town, you know, it's the same anywhere you go, but especially growing up gay in the South is very difficult because you have a lot of prejudice and you have a lot of ignorance that people still cling to, and it's right in the Bible Belt. So you always have that too, that people, these Christian people, love to damn your soul to hell before, you know, even taking a look at themselves. And it's frustrating. And in high school, you know, people seem to always know, even before I ever dare say that I was gay, and I got a lot of faggot and, you know, a lot of rumors that always went around, and, you know, I tried to shake it off and, you know, say fuck the haters and everything, but deep down inside it really did bother me, and it hurts when people are always so cruel and mean, and, you know, there's just a lot of pressure on people just growing up as a teenager generally, but whenever you're gay on top of that, it's a lot of added pressure, and you're like, oh my god, I have to keep this secret, and if anybody knows, then I'm just going to be ridiculed and whatnot. And so it gets pretty rough, and I do understand, especially growing up in a small rural town. It's difficult. It's bloody difficult. Ever since I was young, I always felt I was different, as many of you probably have. You know, some people don't really come out or say they didn't really get the feelings till later in their adolescence, but for me, it was just growing up and being even in elementary school. You know, I loved to play with the girls, and the boys gave me butterflies in my stomach, and I didn't even know what gay was then, but I felt, you know, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. I just thought that's who I was, because it is who I am. And, you know, as I grew up and started, you know, at like 12, 13, then I started realizing that, you know, I had feelings and emotions for boys, whereas I did not have them for girls. And, you know, I struggled with that a lot, because coming from a Christian family, you know, it was always frowned upon, and it scared me to death, thinking anybody knowing my secret. Like, whenever I went into junior high, and I was, let's see, 12 in 7th grade, and, you know, from 7th grade on, I started discovering myself and, you know, dealing with things, because even before I came out, people were faggot this, gay rumors all the time. I was the gay kid. And, you know, I was a gay smart kid. I was a straight A student and very involved in everything, and just chased everything that I loved, but it still bothered me. I dealt with it a lot, and it was hard. You know, people always talking about you and rumors and saying things. This was before, you know, Facebook and YouTube, so I could only imagine with social media these days, like, how rumors spread, because, you know, it wasn't even until I was like later in junior high, you know, in like 2005, 2004 and 5, that, you know, I had MySpace, and I hadn't even stumbled into Facebook land yet, and YouTube was a mere baby, and, you know, I didn't have any of these resources, and being in a small town, I had nobody to relate to or to talk to, or nobody to look up to, and like celebrities or anything. There wasn't all of this coming out, and gay rights are just in its infancy, and it doesn't seem so long ago, and it isn't, but a lot has changed in the past few years. And I remember whenever I was in 9th grade, I was 14 years old, and I went to my friend Chelsea's Halloween party, and I had a big crush on this guy named Ben. I'll leave out his last name for confidentiality reasons, but, you know, I was just so wanting to have my first kiss and experience and all that with a boy, that, you know, I asked my friend when we were all playing Truth or Dare to dare him to kiss me, or vice versa. Well, they did it, and he did, and I was like, this has to stay here. You can't tell anybody this. Like, like, you can't, like, it's not even an option for you. You have to just keep this under wraps. And what I thought, they being my best friends, I thought they would keep a secret. Well, that Halloween party turned into a weekend where we all hung out and Ben stayed, and it just turned into this little love story, and we were inseparable and just making out and holding hands, and it was just so new and it was so awesome for me. I was like, oh my god, this is so great. You know, I can't believe that I found another boy that I like, and this is just great. I was ecstatic and head over heels. Well, Monday comes around and everybody's talking and getting looks, and I was like, what the fuck? And I asked, you know, I was walking to one of my classes, and who is now my sister-in-law, she was going to school with me at the time as well, and she came out, she was like, are you gay? She's like, I heard that you made out with Ben. And I was like, no, I don't know where you heard that. Like, no, I didn't make out with anybody. Who told you that? Oh, I was just hearing this from people. And I was livid. I was like, I know it's one of 3 people, because I know Ben ain't saying anything to anybody. And I was just freaked out. And come to find out, Tiara, who was one of the other girls who I thought was a very best friend of mine, it's always like, you know, if you want somebody or anybody to know anything, it's telegraph, telephone, or tell Tiara. And that's exactly what happened. And I was pissed. She told people, and it went like wildfire, just spread all over the school. And I was so pissed and just so embarrassed and just didn't even know how to deal. And I just felt so betrayed by these friends of mine. It amounted to like where I was sitting in algebra class, and this one guy, Franco, turns around and he's like, oh, so you're a fag? I heard you made out with Ben Wells. And I just snapped, and I was like, you need to shut the fuck up. I was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're like, just shut up, just stop. And my algebra teacher's sitting right there, and she didn't say anything. She just looked back down at her paper because she knew it was bullshit that people were giving me such a hard time, and I've never given anybody a hard time. And anyways, that blew over, and I still hadn't came out yet. And the next year, in 10th grade, I was like, fuck this. I need to get out of this school. I need to get out of here. I need to get away somewhere. So I was taking Japanese in the 10th grade, and I decided to go ahead and apply for this scholarship to become a foreign exchange student to Japan. Went through all the processes and ended up getting the scholarship. The next March, I left for Japan, and I went and was a foreign exchange student. And I was really free there. I was finally able to be myself, because in Japan, they don't care about that. Buddhism and everything embraces homosexuality as it's just natural. And I thought this was so cool, and I was finally being able to branch out without pressure from everybody else, my family and my friends and all that, you know, people are going to talk and judge, and, you know, I'm going to be damned to hell because this is what I've been told all my life. And I finally decided to get the courage one day, well, as courage as it can be, being all the way in Japan when my parents and everybody is in Arkansas. And I decided to get on Yahoo Instant Messenger, and I told my sister first. I was like, hey, look, I got something to tell you. I'm gay. And she was like, oh, that's fine. She was like, I was like, but you can't tell mom, you can't tell dad, don't. And she's like, oh, I won't. And she didn't. And she was supportive and everything. And then I finally decided, well, here's an instant message to mom. I'm going to go ahead and tell her that I'm gay. I'm 15 years old at this point, scared shitless. Even though there's an ocean between us, I was still scared shitless. And I typed the message, hey mom, I have something really important to tell you. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, I'm gay, period, send. And there was no response for a minute, and then it said, you know, the user was typing, and then she was like, haha, whatever. She was like, quit messing with me. And then I was silent. I wasn't even going to respond to that. And I was like, no mom, for real, I'm gay. She was like, however you feel, it's fine. I love you unconditionally. Nothing's going to change that. La la la, we had a conversation. It was fine. No face-to-face contact, of course, so it was fine in my eyes. And when I came back home from my foreign exchange, you know, there was still a lot of uneasiness. I hadn't told my dad yet. I decided to tell my dad. And my dad's Christian and real redneck country guy, like totally corn-fed and raised on a farm. And I told him, and he was like, he's like, it's just a phase. He was like, that's wrong. He was like, you know, this has just got to be a phase. You know, you're still young, and you know, you're gonna go to hell for this. Like, you need to change your ways. And they, you know, even my mom was, you know, she said she loves me and unconditionally fine, but she kept questioning it and pushing, like, you know, this is wrong. You want to talk to somebody. Like, you know, I didn't feel totally accepted. I'm like, whoa, you said you accepted this, but in all actuality, she doesn't. And she loves me, and we don't have problems or anything, but, you know, there's points where I was going through confirmation, because they're in the Lutheran church, you go through confirmation, it's like Catholic. And I went through that for Bible study for 2 years, and still telling how my pastor's saying, oh, well, you just haven't met the right woman yet. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that I have, and it's just not gonna happen. I'm not straight. I'm so sorry to burst your bubble. Like, it's not gonna happen. I can't pray the gay away. And, you know, it's been a constant struggle, and I finally just had to just stop, and that pushed me away from Christianity. I won't even go to that in this video. Everything blew over the next few years, and I got my first boyfriend and all that. Everything seemed really good. My dad just kind of didn't even acknowledge it, and I was like, whatever, you know. I told him I did my part. Now it's their part to do what they want to do. I'm my own person, and I'm gonna go and move on with my life. And, you know, everything, my mom's completely supportive. It was me and my boyfriends, and a little freaked out because it's new to her, but, you know, she overall seemed really supportive. And, you know, everything, as growing up, I'm 24 now, and everything seemed fine and everything. My mom's completely accepting with all my boyfriends, and I've brought them to family functions. Everybody knows, and it's fine. But it's difficult because, you know, I still feel like I just talked to my mom, and like 2 weekends ago, like, she's like, okay, you got a certain problem in my life. She's like, you got this under control now, if we can only get you to be hetero. And I was like, whoa, Mom, where the hell did that come from? You know, I thought you loved me, and I thought you accepted me. Like, why is this hasn't been an issue in a long time. Like, where is this coming from? And then one day she was mad because of an issue, and like, she was like, well, that's what you get for being a faggot. And we got in a heated debate. I'm like, Mom, what the hell? Like, what, do you not accept me anymore? Like, what has changed? And it really pissed me off because, like, all these years she's been completely fine and completely supportive, but in the back of her mind, she actually really isn't. And she's like, you know, you're gonna go to hell. And I'm like, no, not this again. We've been over this, and this is beating a dead horse. Like, I cannot even believe that you're going back to this notion and bringing that up to me when you know clearly how I stand on this and religion, and it just, don't even go there. Just be happy for me, and please don't even say anything like that again. That really hurt me. Like, I feel really betrayed. She said she didn't mean it, but deep down I still know they have a problem with it, yet they're tolerant and they love me and they're still supportive, but it's like, they still have this hope that I'm going to change, and that just, it's been rubbing me wrong for a little bit. So that's what I've been dealing with lately, on top of a lot of other things. That's the last thing I need. And my dad's still saying that it's wrong and I'm going to hell. Well, I'm sorry, I don't believe in your hell, and I'm just not going to go into religion with you. And they're really nice to my boyfriend. They say they love my boyfriend, but it's still like that. It's the religion thing that's really still bothering them, and they're just going to have to get over that fact. But it's still, I still struggle with it. Apparently, I didn't even know until a couple weeks ago. I still struggle with this with my mom. And Dad, I know he's stuck in his ways, country boy. It's not going to change, but he loves me. And, you know, I know the love is there, but it's just like, whoa, where did all this feeling and emotion of your non-acceptance come from? And it bothered me. So that pretty much sums up my coming out story and living as a gay guy here in Arkansas. And I feel for anybody that's growing up in a small town, being gay, just stay true to yourself. Don't give up, and don't let haters get you down. I know that's a typical cliche, but don't. Like, brush it off and prove everybody wrong, because you are your own person. You were born this way. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't ever let anybody try to change who you are, because it's utter bullshit, and we're gonna have prejudice and hate in this world for forever, and we're just gonna have to learn that and show people that we're just as good as you, and we're born this way, and they're gonna have to accept it. I hope that this video reaches people young and going through young adulthood that are struggling with their identity, but just stay true to yourself and don't let anything get you down. Don't hurt yourself because you're great, you're beautiful, you're important to this world, and just stay true to yourself. I've said that a million times, but do it. Do it true, and just live life and love life and treat every day as it's your last. And that's really all I have to say about that fact. Please like this video if you liked it. I really hope this helps you, out there being a gay teenager, anybody that's, even if you're straight and watching this, just treat people like you want to be treated. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below in the comment section. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this video. There will be plenty more to come about life and just general things that I love. Have a great day, and thank you for watching. Keep it fabulous.